Alleen er zijn kansen in dit land. Als je wat wil, het kan hier gewoon. De mogelijkheden lijken zelfs onbegrensd. Het is een kwestie van tijd en een heel klein beetje doorzettingsvermogen af en toe. Maar alles kan. Echt alles kan. Als je wat wil, het kan hier. Ik ben in al die landen mensen tegengekomen die van alles willen, maar het lukt ze niet. Ze lopen stuk, ook een handicap, of ook infrastructuur, ook een soort bureaucratische molen. Maar hier kan alles. Alles. En wat ik haat, waar ik echt verschrikkelijk moedeloos van word, is creatieve armoede. Dat het hierboven helemaal stil is. Dat als je aan mensen vraagt van, goh, wat wil je laten gaan doen? Kijk, zie je wel, kom goed. Ja, kijk wel, weet ik veel. Maakt niet uit toch? Zie je wel gewoon, kijk wel. Kijk wat er langskomt, ja toch, zie je wel gewoon. Ja, daar gaan we niet druk over maken, echt niet, vooral is wel leuk. Ja toch, kom wel goed, zie je wel later wel. Ah, tijd staat, rustig aan toch, ja, daar gaan we niet druk over maken, weet je niet. Maar niet uit toch, zie je wel gewoon, kom wel goed, ja, rustig aan. Ja, je hebt toch wel iets, ik bedoel, je hebt toch wel over nagedacht. Je hebt toch een droom, neem ik aan. Het hoeft niet uit te komen, maar droom maar op. Wat zou je willen bereiken? Waar zie jij jezelf over een paar jaar? Hier? Ja, ik weet niet, maar niet uit hoor. Zie wel gewoon. Kijk wel, kom wel later wel. Ja toch, de tijd zat, rustig aan. Gaan wij niet druk over maken, vals wel leuk. Ja, kijk wat er langskomt. Ja toch, zie wel gewoon, rustig aan. Tijd zat, kom wel. Je hebt wel iets in je hoofd, een soort richting, een soort opleiding. Ja, niet te moeilijk. Nee, dat weet ik wel. Nee, niet te moeilijk. Jij geeft me een beetje suiker en zo. Nee, anders neem ik gewoon uitkeren, is ook goed. Neem ik gewoon uitkeren, is hartstikke makkelijk. Blijf gewoon lekker thuis wonen. Mijn vader heeft genoeg geld, joh. Neem ik gewoon uitkeren, is hartstikke makkelijk. Beetje PlayStation, niet te moeilijk, jij geeft. Je mag geven me iets. Je hebt zo'n soort klein idee, een soort klein motto. Ja, ik wil alles uit mijn leven halen wat erin zit. Ja. Zeg dat nou niet, weet je wel. Je weet voor de helft niet eens wat erin zit. En uiteindelijk komt hij dan. Ja, ik wil wel iets met mensen doen of zo. Wauw. Heb ik me ook gedacht, joh. Ik wil wel iets met mensen doen of zo. Ik wil wel iets met mensen doen of zo. En dan kijken ze je aan alsof de rest van de wereld dolfijnentrimmer is. Maar ik vind mensen die iets met mensen willen doen of zo, die moeten gewoon hier in het centrum zetten. Op de Dam, zaterdagmiddag, bord om en een kupwassoep uitdelen. En zeggen, nou, jij bent op je plek of niet? Moet je kijken wat de mensen boffert. Tot 6:30 mag je echo. We leven aan een kant van de wereld waarin er zoveel mogelijkheden zijn, zoveel keuze en zoveel vrijheid, dat mensen daar totaal van in een war raken. Mensen schieten in de stress. Er is zo ongelooflijk veel om te doen, dat mensen niet meer weten wat ze moeten doen en daarom maar niks gaan doen. Mensen hebben het gevoel alsof ze in hun eentje op een groot leeg doel afrennen. En er is geen keeper en ze hoeven alleen maar te scoren. Maar doordat er zoveel mogelijkheden zijn, schieten ze over of keihard naast.
I'm going to talk to you about some stuff that's in this book of mine that I hope will resonate with other things that you've already heard, and I'll try to make some connections myself in case you missed them. But I want to start with what I call the official dogma. The official dogma of what? The official dogma of all Western industrial societies. And the official dogma runs like this. If we are interested in maximizing the welfare of our citizens, the way to do that is to maximize individual freedom. The reason for this is both that freedom is in and of itself good, valuable, worthwhile, essential to being human, and because if people have freedom, then each of us can act on our own to do the things that will maximize our welfare, and no one has to decide on our behalf. The way to maximize freedom is to maximize choice. The more choice people have, the more freedom they have, and the more freedom they have, the more welfare they have. This, I think, is so deeply embedded in the water supply that it wouldn't occur to anyone to question it. And it's also deeply embedded in our lives. I'll give you some examples of what modern progress has made possible for us. This is my supermarket, not such a big one. I want to say just a word about salad dressing. 175 salad dressings in my supermarket. If you don't count the 10 extra virgin olive oils and 12 balsamic vinegars you could buy to make a very large number of your own salad dressings in the off chance that none of the 175 the store has on offer suit you. So this is what the supermarket is like. And then you go to the consumer electronics store to set up a stereo system, speakers, CD player, tape player, tuner, amplifier, and in this one single consumer electronics store, there are that many stereo systems. We can construct 6.5 million different stereo systems out of the components that are on offer in one store. You got to admit that's a lot of choice. In other domains, the world of communications, there was a time when I was a boy when you could get any kind of telephone service you wanted as long as it came from Ma Bell. You rented your phone, you didn't buy it. One consequence of that, by the way, is that the phone never broke. And those days are gone. We now have an almost unlimited variety of phones, especially in the world of cell phones. These are cell phones of the future. My favorite is the middle one, the MP3 player, nose hair trimmer, and creme brulee torch. And if by some chance you haven't seen that in your store yet, you can rest assured that one day soon you will. And what this does is it leads people to walk into their stores asking this question. And do you know what the answer to this question now is? The answer is no. It is not possible to buy a cell phone that doesn't do too much. So, in other aspects of life that are much more significant than buying things, the same explosion of choice is true. Healthcare. It is no longer the case in the United States that you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you what to do. Instead, you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you, well, we could do A or we could do B. A has these benefits and these risks. B has these benefits and these risks. What do you want to do? And you say, Doc, what should I do? And the doc says, A has these benefits and risks, and B has these benefits and risks. What do you want to do? And you say, if you were me, doc, what would you do? And the doc says, but I'm not you. And the result is, we call it patient autonomy, which makes it sound like a good thing, but what it really is a shifting of the burden and the responsibility for decision-making from somebody who knows something, namely the doctor, to somebody who knows nothing and is almost certainly sick and thus not in the best shape to be making decisions, namely the patient. There's enormous marketing of prescription drugs to people like you and me, which if you think about it, makes no sense at all since we can't buy them. Why do they market to us if we can't buy them? The answer is that they expect us to call our doctors the next morning and ask for our prescriptions to be changed. Something as dramatic as our identity is now become a matter of choice, as this slide is meant to indicate. We don't inherit an identity, we get to invent it, and we get to reinvent ourselves as often as we like. And that means that every day when you wake up in the morning, you have to decide what kind of person you want to be. With respect to marriage and family, there was a time when the default assumption that almost everyone had is that you got married as soon as you could, and then you started having kids as soon as you could. The only real choice was who, not when, and not what you did after. Nowadays, everything is very much up for grabs. I teach wonderfully intelligent students, and I assign 20% less work than I used to, and it's not because they're less smart, and it's not because they're less diligent, it's because they are preoccupied, asking themselves, should I get married or not? Should I get married now? Should I get married later? Should I have kids first or a career first? All of these are consuming questions, and they're going to answer these questions whether or not it means not doing all the work I assign and not getting a good grade in my courses. And indeed they should. These are important questions to answer. Work. We are blessed, as Carl was pointing out, with the technology that enables us to work every minute of every day from any place on the planet, except the Randolph Hotel. There is one corner, by the way, that I'm not going to tell anybody about where the Wi-Fi works. I'm not telling you about it because I want to use it. So what this means, this incredible freedom of choice we have with respect to work, is that we have to make a decision again and again and again about whether we should or shouldn't be working. We can go to watch our kid play soccer, and we have our cell phone on one hip, and our BlackBerry on our other hip, and our laptop presumably on our laps. And even if they're all shut off, every minute that we're watching our kid mutilate a soccer game, we are also asking ourselves, should I answer this cell phone call? Should I respond to this email? Should I draft this letter? And even if the answer to the question is no, it's certainly going to make the experience of your kid's soccer game very different than it would have been. So everywhere we look, big things and small things, material things and lifestyle things, life is a matter of choice. And the world we used to live in looked like this. That is to say, there were some choices, but not everything was a matter of choice. And the world we now live in looks like this. And the question is this good news or bad news? And the answer is yes. We all know what's good about it, so I'm going to talk about what's bad about it. All of this choice has two effects, two negative effects on people. One effect, paradoxically, is that it produces paralysis rather than liberation. With so many options to choose from, people find it very difficult to choose at all. I'll give you one very dramatic example of this, a study that was done of investments in voluntary retirement plans. A colleague of mine got access to investment records from Vanguard, the gigantic mutual fund company of about 1 million employees in about 2,000 different workplaces. And what she found is that for every 10 mutual funds the employer offered, rate of participation went down 2%. You offer 50 funds, 10% fewer employees participate than if you only offer 5. Why? Because with 50 funds to choose from, it's so damn hard to decide which fund to choose that you'll just put it off till tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and of course tomorrow never comes. Understand that not only does this mean that people are going to have to eat dog food when they retire because they don't have enough money put away, it also means that making the decision is so hard that they pass up significant matching money from the employer. By not participating, they are passing up as much as $5,000 a year from the employer, who would happily match their contribution. So paralysis is a consequence of having too many choices, and I think it makes the world look like this. You really want to get the decision right if it's for all eternity, right? You don't want to pick the wrong mutual fund or even the wrong salad dressing. So that's one effect. The second effect is that even if we manage to overcome the paralysis and make a choice, we end up less satisfied with the result of the choice than we would be if we had fewer options to choose from. And there are several reasons for this. One of them is that with a lot of different salad dressings to choose from, if you buy one and it's not perfect, and you know what salad dressing is, it's easy to imagine that you could have made a different choice that would have been better. And what happens is this imagined alternative induces you to regret the decision you made, and this regret subtracts from the satisfaction you get out of the decision you made, even if it was a good decision. The more options there are, the easier it is to regret anything at all that is disappointing about the option that you chose. Second, what economists call opportunity costs. Dan Gilbert made a big point this morning of talking about how much the way in which we value things depends on what we compare them to. Well, when there are lots of alternatives to consider, it is easy to imagine the attractive features of alternatives that you reject that make you less satisfied with the alternative that you've chosen. Here's an example. For those of you who aren't New Yorkers, I apologize. But here's what you're supposed to be thinking. Here's this couple on the Hamptons. Very expensive real estate, gorgeous beach, beautiful day. They have it all to themselves. What could be better? Well, damn it, this guy is thinking, it's August. Everybody in my Manhattan neighborhood is away. I could be parking right in front of my building. And he spends 2 weeks nagged by the idea that he is missing the opportunity day after day to have a great parking space. Opportunity costs subtract from the satisfaction we get out of what we choose, even when what we choose is terrific. And the more options there are to consider, the more attractive features of these options are going to be reflected by us as opportunity costs. Here's another example. Now this cartoon makes a lot of points. It makes points about living in the moment as well, and probably about doing things slowly. But one point it makes is that whenever you're choosing one thing, you're choosing not to do other things, and those other things may have lots of attractive features, and it's going to make what you're doing less attractive. Third, escalation of expectations. This hit me when I went to replace my jeans. I wear jeans almost all the time, and there was a time when jeans came in one flavor, and you bought them, and they fit like crap, and they were incredibly uncomfortable, and if you wore them long enough and washed them enough times, they started to feel okay. So I went to replace my jeans after years and years of wearing these old ones, and I said, I want a pair of jeans, here's my size, and the shopkeeper said, do you want slim fit, easy fit, relaxed fit? You want button fly or zipper fly? You want stone washed or acid washed? Do you want them distressed? Do you want boot cut? Do you want tapered? Blah, 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 on and on. He went, my jaw dropped, and after I recovered, I said, I want the kind that used to be the only kind. He had no idea what that was. So I spent an hour trying on all these damn jeans, and I walked out of the store, truth, with the best fitting jeans I had ever had. I did better. All this choice made it possible for me to do better. But I felt worse. Why? I wrote a whole book to try to explain this to myself. The reason is, the reason I felt worse is that with all of these options available, my expectations about how good a pair of jeans should be went up. I had I had no particular expectations when they only came in one flavor. When they came in 100 flavors, damn it, one of them should have been perfect. And what I got was good, but it wasn't perfect. And so I compared what I got to what I expected, and what I got was disappointing in comparison to what I expected. Adding options to people's lives can't help but increase the expectations people have about how good those options will be. And what that's going to produce is less satisfaction with results, even when they're good results. Nobody in the world of marketing knows this. Because if they did, you wouldn't all know what this was about. The truth is more like this. The reason that everything was better back when everything was worse is that when everything was worse, it was actually possible for people to have experiences that were a pleasant surprise. Nowadays, the world we live in, we affluent, industrialized citizens, with perfection, the expectation, the best you can ever hope for is that stuff is as good as you expect it to be. You will never be pleasantly surprised because your expectations, my expectations, have gone through the roof. The secret to happiness, this is what you all came for. The secret to happiness is low expectations. I want to say, just a little autobiographical moment, that I actually am married to a wife, and she's really quite wonderful. I couldn't have done better. I didn't settle. But settling isn't always such a bad thing. Finally, one consequence of buying a bad-fitting pair of jeans when there is only one kind to buy is that when you are dissatisfied and you ask why, who's responsible? The answer is clear. The world is responsible. What could you do? When there are hundreds of different styles of jeans available, and you buy one that is disappointing, and you ask why, who's responsible, it is equally clear that the answer to the question is you. You could have done better. With 100 different kinds of jeans on display, there is no excuse for failure. And so when people make decisions, and even though the results of the decisions are good, they feel disappointed about them, they blame themselves. Clinical depression has exploded in the industrial world in the last generation. I believe a significant, not the only, but a significant contributor to this explosion of depression and also suicide is that people have experiences that are disappointing because their standards are so high, and then when they have to explain these experiences to themselves, they think they're at fault. And so the net result is that we do better in general, objectively, and we feel worse. So, let me remind you, this is the official dogma, the one that we all take to be true, and it's all false. It is not true. There's no question that some choice is better than none, but it doesn't follow from that that more choice is better than some choice. There's some magical amount, I don't know what it is. I'm pretty confident that we have long since passed the point where options improve our welfare. Now, as a policy matter, I'm almost done. As a policy matter, the thing to think about is this. What enables all of this choice in industrial societies is material affluence. There are lots of places in the world, and we have heard about several of them, where their problem is not that they have too much choice, their problem is that they have too little. So the stuff I'm talking about is the peculiar problem of modern, affluent, Western societies. And what is so frustrating and infuriating is this. Steve Levitt talked to you yesterday about how these expensive and difficult to install child seats don't help. It's a waste of money. What I'm telling you is that these expensive, complicated choices, it's not simply that they don't help. They actually hurt. They actually make us worse off. if some of what enables people in our societies to make all of the choices we make were shifted to societies in which people have too few options, not only would those people's lives be improved, but ours would be improved also. This is what economists call a Pareto improving move. Income redistribution will make everyone better off, not just poor people, because of how all this excess choice plagues us. So, to conclude, you're supposed to read this cartoon and, being a sophisticated person, say, what does this fish know? You know, nothing is possible in this fishbowl. Impoverished imagination, a myopic view of the world, and that's the way I read it at first. The more I thought about it, however, the more I came to the view that this fish knows something. Because the truth of the matter is that if you shatter the fishbowl so that everything is possible, you don't have freedom, you have paralysis. If you shatter this fishbowl so that everything is possible, you decrease satisfaction. You increase paralysis and you decrease satisfaction. Everybody needs a fishbowl. This one is almost certainly too limited, perhaps even for the fish, certainly for us. But the absence of some metaphorical fishbowl is a recipe for misery and, I suspect, disaster. Thank you very much.
I wasn't ready.
I have no arms and no legs, but I'm very thankful that I have my little chicken drumstick here. People freak out when they see me for the first time. It's so cool. I was at a water slide all by myself. Everyone obviously at the bottom of the slide is looking up and waiting for other people to come down, and here I come and they're freaking out. They're like, you know, like this. And I was so tempted to look at myself and go, what happened? You know? And there were times where I sort of looked at my life and thinking, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. And you keep on concentrating on the things that you wish you had or the things that you wish you didn't have. And you sort of forget what you do have. And there's no point, I believe, in my life where I wish I had arms, legs, I wish I had arms, legs, I wish I had arms, legs, because wishing won't help. But what I've seen in life are just a couple key principles, and the first thing that I've seen is to be thankful. It's hard to be thankful, man. I tell you, when I was 8 years old, I sort of summed up my life and thought, I'm never going to get married. I'm not going to have a job. I'm not going to have a life of purpose. What kind of a husband am I going to be if I can't even hold my wife's hand? It's a lie to think that you're not good enough. It's a lie to think that you're not worth anything.
One boy. Woo! It's freezing. I can't feel my hands.
I love life. You know, so many people come and say, how come you smile so much? And I'm like, well, it's a long story. But it's very simple at the same time. You see, it's very hard to smile sometimes in life. There are things that happen that you don't know and you don't understand, and you don't know if you're going to get through it. You know, you go through your storms in life and you don't know how long this storm is going to be. And today I want to share with you some principles that I've learned in my life that you can use in yours. Being patient is beautiful. I tell you, it's the hardest thing. But I realized I may not have hands to hold my wife's hand, but when the time comes, I'll be able to hold her heart. I don't need hands to hold her heart. You know, it is scary to know how many girls have eating disorders. It is scary to know how many people are just angry at life because of their situation at home and angry at others. It's scary to know how many people actually feel like they're worth nothing. Every single girl right here, right now, I want you to know that you are beautiful. You are gorgeous just the way you are. And you boys, you're the man.
On this DVD, I share my experiences in life of how I've overcome challenges and seen a new, fresh perspective in life. To be thankful, to dream big, and to never give up. I speak to children, youth, and adults about key issues and principles that I've applied in my life that has given me the strength to conquer all that comes before me.
Alice Hertz Sommer was born in Prague in 1903. At the age of 39, she became an accomplished pianist. Then in 1942, her life was turned into absolute turmoil and tragedy. Her entire family was rounded up by the Nazis and sent to concentration camps. Her mother and father were killed, but she survived with her son because the Nazis wanted to create a propaganda film, and her talents, her gifts as a pianist, were useful to them. Each day she lied on a frozen dirt floor, soothing her son, trying to figure out how to survive, yet knowing that in a few minutes she'd have to get up and perform, and if she didn't please her captors, she and her son would be exterminated that day. Somehow she found a way to not only survive, but to thrive. In fact, her story was passionately captured in a powerful book called A Century of Wisdom. Alice experiences more joy in an average day than most people experience in a lifetime. She's here as a testament to what the human spirit can accomplish and overcome.
I look where it is good. I know about the bad, but I look at the good thing.
People from all over the world come to visit Alice in her small London apartment and to experience her remarkable spirit. Amazingly, to this day, she harbors no feelings of hate for her past experiences. Do you not hate the people that did this to you?
Never I hate.
Why not?
I never hate. We are all sometimes good, sometimes bad.
I read somewhere you said that you felt like being in that concentration camp was a gift in some ways. Is that true?
I was thankful and happy. My son was 5.5 years old. Sometimes he asked, Mother, why have we nothing to eat? And another time he asked, Mother, what are Jews? I didn't know what to answer him. I believe men don't need to eat food. Maybe we don't need food. When we have something spiritual, you see. And these concerts, the people are sitting there, old people, desolated and ill, and they came to the concerts and they want, and this music was for our food. Music was our food. Through music we were kept alive.
Didn't you have pain, though, when you were in the concentration camp? Wasn't that painful to not have food?
I hadn't pain.
How did you have no pain?
No. I was always laughing. We were lying 2 years on the floor with my son, and he saw me laughing. How can a child not laugh when the mother laughs? When a child is near to the mother, everything can happen. He is not afraid. It gives him a security. And I was always laughing. Even there I was laughing. The music made me happy. I knew that we will play. And I was thinking, when we can play, it can't be so terrible. The music, the music.
I remember Alice sitting on the stage. I was in about third row and saw her from the right profile. And I was quite captivated. It was magic to hear this music in that kind of surrounding, which you don't realize until it's over. So you come sort of back to earth and see where you are and how much it was a moral support. It was not entertainment, as most people think, that we were having fun. It had a much bigger value.
We should thank Beethoven, to Schubert, to Schumann, to Brahms, to thank them what they gave us. They gave us beauty, they gave us indescribable beauty. They made us happy. The worst thing in life, in my opinion, is boredom. When people don't know what to do with themselves. They are very, very poor.
What are the 2 or 3 most important things you've learned in your life?
The most important thing is that I was born optimistic. This is not my merit. My mother pressed it. And I came out and I was optimistic. And I was laughing from the beginning of my life. And we laughed till my end. This is my answer.
And why were you so optimistic? You just chose to be different than your sister?
We were twins.
Oh, you were born of a twin?
And the twin sister was pessimistic. She waited for catastrophes. Sometimes the catastrophes came.
Sure.
I had cancer
At what age?
in the age of 83.
83.
I came to London. The next day I didn't feel well, so the doctor sent me immediately to the hospital and they operated. And I still am alive.
Wow. That's
having
amazing.
had the cancer.
That's amazing. You said your mother taught you 2 very important lessons in life that helped you even in the concentration camp. What did she teach you about gratitude?
Complaining doesn't change people. When they complain,
Nothing changes.
When you ask me what I learned in my long life, so I can answer you, first of all, I am grateful to my mother that she was interested in we are 5 children, to learn, to know, this is a basis. And then to be thankful. For instance, as a survivor, as I am with my son, thankful for everything, for being not hungry, being in a good health, of course, seeing the sun, seeing a smile of a smile, a nice word of somebody, Everything is at present. Everything. This I learned, to be thankful for everything.
I know people who have been used to standing outside the building in the street listening to her and just admiring her playing.
This is my religion, actually. I am Jewish without religion, but music actually is a part of my religion.
Your mother taught you every day to put something in your mind, so it was something no one could take from you.
No.
And do you still do that?
No. I learned Bach by heart.
Yes.
And when my doctor came, he said, this is better than 100 pills. Because to learn by heart.
Yes. How important is being grateful to a great life?
I was thankful and happy. I think backwards. This was beautiful. This was beautiful. Instead of forward, I'm living now backwards.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if people thought of a life where you started life by, dying, and then somebody gave you a gold watch, and then you went to work, and you eventually ended life playing with your friends in the yard.
Sometimes it happens that I am thankful to have been there, because this gave me I am richer than other people. My reaction on life, it's quite another one. All complain, this is terrible, it's not so terrible. We all learn from mistakes.
Yes. Yes.
So it has to be the bad.
Yes. You smile even when you say it has to be the bad.
Smile helps a lot.
Smiling helps a lot. So out of all the bad, you've learned. You've learned from the bad, and you've focused on the good. That's how you've made your life work.
Yeah.
That's the essence of optimism, I guess.
Absolutely. All complain, this is terrible, it's not so terrible. I know about the bad, but I look at the good thing. Everything is a present.
I understand at 106. I understand you were still practicing 3 hours a day. Is that true? It's true?
107.
107, 3 hours a day practicing.
How old are you? Seven or 6?
7.
6?
7.
I am 7.
Yes.
Now I will be 8.
Yes.
She's about to be 108.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
dumber. There ain't much just dumber than pinning your hopes on a change in another. And I still need you. What good's that gonna do? Needing is one thing, and getting's another. So I've been sitting around, wasting my time, wondering what you've been doing. Oh, and it ain't real forgiving, it ain't real forgiving. Sitting here picturing someone else living, and yeah, I still need you. What good's that gonna do? All I'm needing is one thing, and getting's another. So I've been hoping for months, hoping for years, hoping I might forget. Ah, but it don't get much dumber. It don't get much dumber than trying to forget a girl when you love her. And I still need you. What good's that gonna do? Needing is one thing, and getting's another.
Do we get it? Got it.
We live on a beautiful planet, but we are trashing it day by day. Waste is everywhere. Beaches, cities, forests, even in oceans. In Europe, there is a small country called Estonia. Over half of its territory is covered with pristine forests. However, the forests were decorated with household and construction waste. Many people believed it is acceptable to bring their garbage to the forest, and they had been doing that for years. But there was a group of people who believed that all this could be changed.
Teeme ära sündis niimoodi, et kõigepealt tuli minul selline mõte, et mis oleks, kui koristaks Eestimaa täiesti puhtaks.
Ja kui me Raineriga kokku saime, rääkisime enda plaanidest, et mida võiks ära teha, siis Rainer ütles, et stopp. Et selle me teeme ära küll, aga me teeme selle ära 1 päeva jooksul.
Jah, sellist asja polnud kunagi varem tehtud ja esiotsa ei olnud meil õrna aimugi, kuidas seda teha. Aga me olime kindlad, et seda on võimalik teha.
The idea was named Let's Do It, and the plan was to clean up 10,000 tons of waste in just one day. To do that, it was necessary to engage at least 40,000 volunteers. But how to do it? The first step was to create a team with the best professionals in Estonia. A grassroots initiative was launched. In a few weeks, there was a team of 20 volunteers, which eventually grew to 620 people.
Inimesed, keda me projekti kaasasime, olid oma ala tõelised professionaalid. Ja nad tegid seda sellepärast, et see oli neile oluline.
The second step was to get the people, organizations, communities to gather enough support for the idea and find reliable partners. Initiators realized from the start that they needed the support of the entire society, so they went on to win the support of opinion leaders, NGOs, top IT specialists, the largest enterprises, politicians, the media, even the president, gathering eventually more than 500 official partners.
Iga firma panustas siis vastavalt sellele, mis ressursid tal olid, et kes tuli meile appi oma töötajatega, kes andis meile oma töövahendeid, prügiautosid, kes andis meile oma reklaamipindu.
Meile öeldi, et projekti lõpufaasis olime me nagu maffia. Keegi ei saanud meile ära öelda.
The first step was to locate and estimate the type and amount of garbage, creating the virtual garbage map.
See ei olnud raske kokku kombineerida Google Earthi ja mitmeid muid tarkvaralisi juppe, mis on kõik vabalt saadaval. Ja lõpptulemusena sündis siis väga lahe tarkvara, kus inimesed said oma mobiiltelefoniga metsas ringi kõndides vajutada nuppule ja öelda, et siin kohas on nüüd prügihunnik ja kaadril läks automaatselt selle siis telefoni asukoht ja pilt, mida inimene samal ajal tegi, kõik toimus reaalajas. Väga lõbus oli kaardistamise nädalavahetusel istuda arvuti taga ja vaadata, kuidas need Eestit punktid muudkui tuli sinna kaardi peale.
In total, 720 volunteers took part in the mapping process and 10,656 trash points were located on the map. But the most important question remained, how to get 40,000 people to clean it all up.
Meie esimene ülesanne oli tegelikult üldse inimestele nii-öelda silme ette tuua, et mis olukord valitseb ja siis ka see olukord nii-öelda ära kaardistada, et siis näidata, mis on need tõelised suurusjärgud. Seda ei olnud keegi varem teinud ega isegi mõelnud.
Teiseks me korraldasime meediakampaania. Sellest sai suurim kampaania, mis Eesti seadus tehtud on. Ja selle maksumuseks kujunes 0 krooni.
Estonian well-known actors, musicians, and cultural leaders gave their voice and face to the campaign for free. All of a sudden, Let's Do It was everywhere. The action of 40,000 needed to be organized. We asked people to register as teams via the internet. Each team was responsible for cleaning up certain trash points.
Kuskil 2 nädalat enne registreerimise lõppu oli meil umbes 10 000 inimest registreerinud ja siis me mõtlesime küll, et mis me nüüd teeme.
On that day, the most impossible dreams came true. More than 50,000 people came out to participate, and the rest followed the process via all the media channels. That's 4% of a population of 1.3 million, which would equal 15.3 million in the United States or 57 million in India. There were also Americans, Russians, Germans, Swedish, Finns, Chinese, Lithuanians. The international media was following the most ambitious volunteer action in modern times. News of the event reached all around the globe. Under normal circumstances, it would have taken the government 3 years and 22.5 million euros for doing it. But it was done for €500,000 euros and in only 1 day. On the 3rd of May 2008, the whole territory of Estonia was cleaned of its garbage in 5 hours. We did it!
Ma loodan, et meie lugu teid inspireerib. Ja ma usun siiralt, et seda projekti saab teha ka teie kodumaal. See ei maksa palju ja see on kõigest 1 päev.
Let's do it!
High five sound effect.
For the past 5 years, I've been investigating this question of where good ideas come from. It's the kind of problem I think all of us are intrinsically interested in. We want to be more creative, we want to come up with better ideas, we want our organizations to be more innovative. I've looked at this problem from an environmental perspective. What are the spaces that have historically led to unusual rates of creativity and innovation? And what I've found in all of these systems, there are these recurring patterns that you see again and again that are crucial to creating environments that are unusually innovative. One pattern I call the slow hunch, that breakthrough ideas almost never come in a moment of great insight, in a sudden stroke of inspiration. Most important ideas take a long time to evolve, and they spend a long time dormant in the background. It isn't until the idea has had 2 or 3 years, sometimes 10 or 20 years to mature, that it suddenly becomes accessible to you and useful to you in a certain way. And this is partially because good ideas normally come from the collision between smaller hunches, so that they form something bigger than themselves. So you see a lot in the history of innovation, cases of someone who has half of an idea. There's a great story about the invention of the World Wide Web in Tim Berners-Lee. This is a project that Berners-Lee worked on for 10 years. But when he started, he didn't have a full vision for this new medium he was going to invent. He started working on one project as a side project to help him organize his own data. He scrapped that after a couple years, and he started working on another thing. And only after about 10 years did the full vision of the World Wide Web come into being. That is, more often than not, how ideas happen. They need time to incubate, and they spend a lot of time in this partial hunch form. The other thing that's important when you think about ideas this way is that when ideas take form in this hunch state, they need to collide with other hunches. Oftentimes, the thing that turns a hunch into a real breakthrough is another hunch that's lurking in somebody else's mind. And you have to figure out a way to create systems that allow those hunches to come together and turn into something bigger than the sum of their parts. That's why, for instance, the coffee house in the Age of the Enlightenment, or the Parisian salons of modernism, were such engines of creativity, because they created a space where ideas could mingle and swap and create new forms. When you look at the problem of innovation from this perspective, it sheds a lot of important light on the debate we've been having recently about what the internet is doing to our brains. Are we getting overwhelmed with an always connected, multitasking lifestyle? And is that going to lead to less sophisticated thoughts as we move away from the slower, deeper, contemplative state of reading, for instance? Obviously, I'm a big fan of reading, but I think it's important to remember that the great driver of scientific innovation and technological innovation has been the historic increase in connectivity and our ability to reach out and exchange ideas with other people, and to borrow other people's hunches and combine them with our hunches and turn them into something new. That really has, I think, been, more than anything else, the primary engine of creativity and innovation over the last 600 or 700 years. And so yes, it's true we're more distracted. But what has happened that is really miraculous and marvelous over the last 15 years is that we have so many new ways to connect and so many new ways to reach out and find other people who have that missing piece that will complete the idea we're working on, or to stumble serendipitously across some amazing new piece of information that we can use to build and improve our own ideas. That's the real lesson of where good ideas come from, that chance favors the connected mind.
This is your life. Do what you love and do it often. If you don't like something, change it. If you don't like your job, quit. If you don't have enough time, stop watching TV. If you're looking for the love of your life, stop. And they will be waiting for you when you start doing the things you love. Stop overanalyzing. Life is simple. All emotions are beautiful. When you eat, appreciate every last bite. Open your mind, arms, and heart to new things and people. We are united in our differences. Ask the next person you see what their passion is and share your inspiring dream with them. Travel often. Getting lost will help you find yourself. Some opportunities only come once. Seize them. Life is about the people you meet and the things you create with them. So go out and start creating. Life is short. Live your dream and share your passion. Holstein,